All right, so the first section you're typically going to see when you are in GoGuardian is your classrooms section. It's going to lay out in tiles, and there is a lot to look at here, so we're going to go in bits and pieces. So in the top, you're going to see sessions. These are the current sessions which I have scheduled. So for example, right now I have a training day class, which we're going to look at for 36 minutes. Um, it's going to last for that much longer. That class is set to only 45 minutes. This class, this test class, runs every single day, and this ISI class just happens to be turned down as well. So these are classes that are currently active. This is important because sometimes you might forget that you actually have a class active, and that's important because there are kids in each of these classes. So if you have test class and you've decided that there's no Facebook and you forgot about it, for 55 more minutes, those kids would be subject to your scene unless another teacher overrode it. So these are classes that are currently running at the moment. On the upper right, that's just me. I could sign out. Just below that, there's this little blue banner. Now, typically it'll just say good morning or good afternoon, Mathew. Now, the how can we improve GoGuardian teacher? A lot of teachers don't realize it's there. You can click this. It will ask you to log in and give back any feedback that you have for this particular program. They do listen to the feedback. They actively look at that and then take the suggestions they get there and turn them into actual improvements in the Google Classroom or GoGuardian classrooms. So right here, you're going to see classrooms. You're going to see active, pending, archived. When you start the year, this is synced with our EMIS systems and our final forms and all the other things. It knows what classes each kid has and who is rostered to each class. So it will typically shoot out a set of tiles, and those will end up in the pending section. Now, I don't have classes, so I don't have any pending classrooms, but you often will, as a teacher, have pending classrooms. When you see those pending classrooms, you would just accept them and they would become active classrooms. Active classrooms are ones that you have either set up and customized, you've made them yourself, or they are ones that you accepted that were pending at one point. Archived, those are ones that you've told to archive and have for your records. So when we look at the active tiles, we're going to see you can sort them by a wide variety of options. I particularly sort mine A to Z. You could sort them by time of day, depending on when you decided to schedule them. We'll talk about that in a minute. This button is very important. We're constantly getting questions about sites being blocked. Some sites are blocked because of the filtering of GoGuardian, and you can check if a site is blocked right here with this blue button. When you click it, you could type something in like, let's say, CNN.com. Let's check the website. It's going to run a check and say that basically it's fine unless I were to use a particular scene of mine. This is my scene that I have. So it would say, as long as you are not in this scene, you're good to go. Now, something important, let's say you are like, I want to use CNN in my classroom. It'll also let you update your scene if you do have a scene that says only go to Cool Math, and you're like, oh man, I better update that scene because typically I turn that on and I still want them to be able to get to CNN. You can update your scene here, or you can update all your scenes right here. Now, you could import a Google Classroom. I don't think it's necessary, but you could, because it'll already give you pre-made classes at the beginning of the year. If you import a Google Classroom, the rostering will be on you to figure out. If you use your pending classrooms and turn them into active classrooms, it uses the district's rostering. So therefore, the roster would stay current. You can add a classroom at any time. You can put a classroom together. You can put the subject in there if you so choose. You don't have to. You can describe it. You can put a default scene if you want. We will talk about scenes here extensively, but if you want, you could put a default scene like, when I turn this classroom on, I want this to start right away. Or you could say no scene starts. Perfectly fine. You can pick out a particular color and you can add that classroom. Now, why would you make an extra classroom if you've already got classes. Well, sometimes you might want to have differentiation in your GoGuardian. Maybe there's a particular student or students that need a specific set of settings, or even just a sidebar chat, or some other reason that you need to decide to have a custom classroom. You have the option to make any custom classroom you want. Once you make it, it will ask you, do you want to add students? You can add them through CSV, email, or a code. I particularly, for these custom ones, like to just add a student by email. So I'm going to put 28 Widener B, and I'm just going to press add. You'll see the student gets added. Now, the confusing part about this is, now that I went into this practice classroom, now all my tiles are gone. So how do I get back? Two ways. If you look up here at the top, you'll see that there's a set of breadcrumbs here. I am in practice class inside my classrooms. I could click that, or I could just click the tile on the left. So I'm going to click right here. You're going to see I go back to my tiles. Each tile is an individual class. This class, it has a scheduled time. It starts every day at 8 a.m. and it's going to end every day at the end of the day. So that's why it's only got 49 minutes left. So at 3 o'clock, it turns off. This turns on and off all by itself because I have it scheduled. This class is just as an extra custom class. It's just there whenever I want. So I can pick what time I want it to start. At any time, if I pick 30 minutes and I need 31 minutes or 37 minutes, it doesn't matter. You can always update the time and you're never going to get kicked out. This is more just, it will run for 30 minutes if you don't tell it otherwise. And at 30 minutes, it'll just turn off. So that is the tiles and overall look of the classroom section. Remember, you have active, pending, archived. You can sort them. You can check if websites are blocked. You can add custom classrooms. And in the next video, we're going to go over what each individual tile has in terms of settings.